Welcome back to Wrestling World. We have a huge last second change to SummerSlam that was just announced on SmackDown. So we'll talk about that Sonya Deville situation in today's wrestling news. SmackDown featured the big historic debut of WWE's Thunderdome with virtual fans. It was a great night for WWE. The Thunderdome looked absolutely amazing, and like they said themselves, it's a learning experience and the presentation is only going to get better. But I wanted to touch on a much bigger backstage issue that looks like it's about to end with someone leaving the WWE. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were set to face off against each other at SummerSlam in this big showdown for their feud. That's been going on for several months. There was a lot of rumors about a hair versus hair match being the stipulation for their match, and that turned out to be true. Sonya Deville cut off some of Mandy Rose's hair, and that started the build-up to the hair versus hair match, where everyone expected Sonya Deville to lose that match. But literally, just a few days away before SummerSlam, the entire stipulation has been flipped around. Mandy appeared on screen for a backstage promo and basically took everything back and wanted to erase the past few months they had. Just put everything behind them. Sonya Deville then came on SmackDown and was still furious at Mandy. Sonya said that Mandy was clearly trying to get out of the hair versus hair match. Sonya then suggested for the match to be a loser leaves WWE at SummerSlam, and WWE is now promoting that as the official stipulation. So what in the world happened right here? How do we go from being rivals for months, having this hair versus hair match, to Mandy Rose apologizing, and the match now being a loser leaves WWE match? Now, if you don't pay any attention to outside news and you're strictly looking at this situation from a WWE storyline point of view, you may be lost and asking yourself a lot of questions. How did Mandy go from attacking Sonya over the last few weeks to now saying, let's just forget about it and make up? How do we go from a hair versus hair to loser leaves WWE? Well, just judging from a storyline point of view, it's a little bit disheartening to put the viewers through several months of storytelling, and then you have one of the characters just decide, hey, let's forget about everything that happened over the last few months and reunite. That's just cheap, and it's horrible because we just went through all those months of storytelling for basically no reason. It's sort of like the Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan situation. They're rivals. They can't stand each other. They're on their own now, and then boom, they make up out of nowhere and are back together. But for those of you that are unaware, there may be a valid reason why WWE wants Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville to get back together and cancel the hair versus hair match. The reason for the reunion being the real-life situation that happened at Sonya's home last week. We touched on this story earlier in the week, but basically a fan obsessed with Sonya Deville broke into her home, and it was Sonya's alarm that made him leave the scene. He was later arrested as well. But after we covered the story here on the channel, even more new info was released. It was revealed that Mandy Rose was also in Sonya's home the same night of the break-in. So not only did this break-in affect Sonya, but it affected Mandy Rose as well. The suspect was apparently given no bail from the start, but he tried pushing hard to get bail until it was turned down by the judge ruling the case. Apparently they wanted $2 million bail and for him to be monitored at all times. But according to the Tampa Bay Times, the judge turned it down and had a simple reply for that offer. The judge had this to say: I don't see any way we can protect our community in Hillsborough County if we give him bail. A GPS on him gives me no peace of mind. A GPS monitor does nothing for me. Apparently, this has all been unfolding just this week alone. Officers have been testifying, and Sonya Deville reportedly testified as well. Sonya explained her side of the story, and it basically matches what we've all been hearing this week. It was just around 2 a.m. Everyone in the house was sleeping. The security alarm starts going off, which woke up Sonya, and she ran to get her best friend out of bed in the other room. Now, of course, the suspect fled right away and panicked with the alarms. But Sonya didn't know that at the time and was scared that he could still be in the home. That's the latest update in regards to this very serious situation that's happening outside of WWE for both Sonya and Mandy. So how does that real life situation relate to the on-screen story between Mandy and Sonya? Well, like we saw from Mandy Rose on SmackDown, WWE very well could be hinting at the getting back together, likely because of the traumatic experience these two women just went through together. The stipulation of loser leaves WWE is very interesting, and there's a rumor going around right now that makes a lot of sense. Sonya Deville is obviously dealing with a lot outside of the WWE. We can't even imagine the stress that she's going through right now dealing with this situation and now being involved in this big case. So maybe WWE had second thoughts and realized that now wouldn't be the appropriate time to shave Sonya's head bald. She's dealing with so much right now, and the hair versus hair match isn't her main priority for the time being. Maybe that's why WWE called that off and changed it to the loser leaves WWE stipulation. Reason behind that, if Sonya does lose the match, it'll be a good way to write her off of television for a while, to give her a much needed break after this very serious situation she was involved in. Some fans have even wondered if WWE would do a double pin so both Mandy and Sonya could both be written off to just get some time to recover after these recent events. I wouldn't mind that outcome either. Both women were seriously impacted by this situation, so if you want to work some sort of double pin there to write the both of them off, I think the fans would understand. But you may see the stipulation say loser leaves WWE, and you might wonder if they're actually leaving forever. Try not to pay too much attention to the name of that stipulation, because WWE doesn't keep their word on it a majority of the time anyway. Loser leaves WWE doesn't mean that the loser is permanently banned from WWE. The actual stipulation should just be called loser leaves WWE for a few months, because that's what the stipulation often leads to. Just look at Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon and their loser leaves WWE match. Shane lost, he disappeared for a while, and then returned most recently like the match never even happened. So don't worry too much about that stipulation. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville aren't leaving for good. The overall guess right now is that Sonya could be the one to lose the match and leave WWE. But in reality, it'll just be Sonya getting some time off to just get herself right and deal with this situation outside of the ring that must be really taking a toll on her. So it's unfortunate, it really is horrible, but that's the reality behind everything that seems to be going on right now. I was excited for the hair versus hair match, the possible bald Sonya Deville, and how she really could have elevated her character with that fresh new look. But under these unique circumstances, I completely understand. This is the right thing to do. Obviously, just try putting yourself in her shoes, and it'll be pretty impossible to focus on work when you literally went through a traumatic experience just a few days ago. So if WWE wants to give her some time off, reunite them on SmackDown because of everything that happened outside of the ring, then that's completely understandable. We'll see how it plays out, how the SummerSlam match actually ends, and we'll pick up the story from there. But if I had to guess, I really think it makes sense to give Sonya a break after what just happened to her. All of our support goes out to Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. They just went through something that no one should ever have to go through, so we're sending them all our support during these times. What are your thoughts on this situation concerning Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.